Everyone, good morning, community. I love the call and response. Thank you for being here this morning. Welcome to the Malcolm X Foundation and happy Malcolm X Day. I do have some brief welcoming remarks. Again, welcome to our press conference in celebration of Malcolm's 101st birthday. My name is JoAnna Leflore. I'm the Executive Director of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone who made it here today. Thank you. This year's theme is honoring the transformation of Malcolm X. And in the same token, we are also celebrating the transformation of these historic grounds. We are going to turn this into an international destination and expected global destination right here in the heart of our community. In doing so, we are here to share the next phase of our development plans, express gratitude to everyone who has contributed to helping us make it this far, and amplify the work that's still needing to be done in order to reach the next critical milestone of this project. If you are here, it's because you play a part in moving this vision forward. Each of you has a significant role in this phase, and we should come to agree that it is going to take all of us working together to ensure that the next generation can witness this vision coming to life. But before we move too fast, it's even more critical that we acknowledge our founder, Rowena Moore, who started with the purchase of 9 acres right outside our doors to preserve the historic grounds of the memorial birth site of Malcolm X, born here on this date in 1925. Rowena Moore found out that her family owned the lots around the birthplace marker, and her family donated those lots to the foundation's growth. Today, we are benefiting from Mrs. Moore's ambitions and sacrifices. She must continue to be acknowledged as we press forward. In a few moments, you will hear from Honorable Mayor Ewing. Thank you for being here. But before he approaches, I want to recognize any elected officials who are in the room. Would you please stand? Thank you. I also want to recognize my staff and board for supporting and pulling this program together. Would you also please stand and wave? Thank you. After Mayor Ewing, we will hear from Brenda Council as both ambassador and community partner in this project. She, in fact, also worked under the founder and mentorship of Rowena Moore, which set Council on her path of advocacy and community leadership. Following her, we will hear from the principal and owner, Jonathan Spellman of MX Development Group, who has taken this project to the next phase. So without further delay, let's welcome our mayor, Mr. John Ewing, who spoke on this same stage last year. Thank you for coming.
So JoAnna and I had to make a plan so we would come up this way rather than try to cut through all the cameras and everything so nobody would trip. So thank you all for being here this morning. I want to recognize a few people as well. Certainly want to recognize my good partners in doing this work with this community, Senator Terrell McKinney, City Councilwoman LaVanya Goodwin. We always talk about it takes a village, and it really does take all of us working together to be able to do great things in this community, and they are great partners. Then we have some other people in the room that I'm going to recognize. If I miss anybody, I apologize, but these are great partners as well. So I want to recognize former City Councilwoman, State Senator, Board of Education member, my political mentor, Brenda Council. When we look at what Malcolm X stands for, I think it's important to recognize Brenda Council, because without Brenda Council, without her being bold enough to run for mayor, John Ewing would not have thought that a countywide election was possible for him. John Ewing would not have run for mayor of the city of Omaha. So I think it's always important to recognize her, but I think it's also important to recognize what that means. That really is about each of us doing our part to invest in other people and encourage other people and help other people reach their dreams. So Brenda, as I always say, thank you. I do appreciate you. I have a couple people from the mayor's office that I'm going to recognize. You all know Raquel Henderson. She is the North Omaha Community Liaison, and her job is to make me look good every day, and she does an amazing job at that, even with some of those videos you all might have seen. And then we have Erin Grace, who is the Assistant Chief of Staff for Communications, who never wants to be recognized, but she does a great job of making me look good as well. Then we have a number of community partners. If I miss anybody, I apologize, but I just think it's important at this moment in our history that we recognize people. So I want to recognize Tim Christian, who is the Empowerment Network Board Chair. Carmen Tapio, the CEO of North End Teleservices, who is an absolutely amazing partner and does so many things for this community that you guys don't even know about, but she is a tremendous ambassador for this community and does a tremendous job investing in this community. We also have Mr. Gary Clark, who is the Executive Director of the Inland Port Authority. Terry Sanders, who is the CEO of the Omaha Star. Mike Maroney, the CEO of Omaha Economic Development Corporation. And then some guy I've known pretty much all my life, my brother Eric Ewing, who is the Executive Director of the Great Plains Black History Museum. I want to thank them for being here, but all of you as well, because this really is a momentous occasion when we look at what we are going to be talking about today. The theme for today is about legacy, vision, and possibility. To stand here in a space connected to the life and legacy of Malcolm X, one of the most influential voices for Black empowerment, self-determination, and human dignity, is deeply meaningful, especially here in Omaha, Nebraska, where his story began. Okay, now I got to get my reading glasses for the small print. So you all have to excuse me. I make one concession to getting older, and that is I need reading glasses. May 19th is not just a date on the calendar. It is a reminder of a legacy that continues to shape our community and our city. Malcolm X's unwavering commitment to truth, equality, and community empowerment remains as relevant today as ever. His message challenged systems of oppression and called on communities to invest in themselves, a call our city takes seriously and I take seriously as your mayor. We honor him today not with just words, but with action. What I'd like to do now is just provide a very brief overview of this amazing project, because I've had the privilege of sitting with this team a couple times now getting updates on this. But I want you all to know that this will be something that will change the landscape of North Omaha. It is a project that will bring an international, and as JoAnna talked about, global impact to this community when we have an international destination that recognizes Malcolm X. It will also give us the opportunity to have economic development in this community where we have mixed-use housing. We have an opportunity to create business opportunities here as well. So they've got a great plan that they will continue to unveil for this community. They've done a great job, in my opinion, of getting community input. They've done a great job of building partnership, and I would ask each of you to get behind them on this project, and let's make this happen. This is about the legacy of Malcolm X, but it's also about the legacy of Omaha, Nebraska. It's also about the legacy of North Omaha. So let's begin to dream bigger. Let's begin to look at how we can partner with them in order to make this vision a reality. This is our opportunity to get engaged and to put our money where our mouth is and to look at how we can help transform North Omaha. We a lot of times have people who complain. It's very easy to complain. It's a little more difficult to do the work. So I'm going to ask people to take the next step and let's do the work. Let's get behind this great organization and this great opportunity that we have for the city of Omaha and that we have for North Omaha. This campus is being designed with a global vision, a destination that will draw visitors, scholars, activists, and artists from around the world who are connected to Malcolm's legacy. International delegations, civil rights tourists will have a reason to come here, spending time and dollars in our city while connecting with this powerful history. Like great historical landmarks around the world, this campus will draw people who are seeking to understand the deeper story of justice and freedom. And our city will be at the center of that conversation. One of the things I'm always looking at is how do we put Omaha on the national and even international map? And this is an opportunity to do that with your partnership with the Malcolm X Foundation. This is not a local project. It is a contribution to the global conversation about justice, identity, and history. This project is creating local jobs and prioritizing minority-owned contractors and businesses in the process. Once it is completed, it will bring increased foot traffic, economic activity, and investment in the surrounding neighborhood. The project reflects our city's commitment to invest in historically underserved communities. It stands as a physical symbol that we value community history, culture, and leadership. We are building something future generations will be proud of. We have to acknowledge that all of you in this room today are partners in this endeavor. So I thank you in advance. I invite you to stay engaged with the project updates and upcoming milestones. Encourage attendance at any related events or celebrations. And then one thing I want to always remind you of is that we truly are one Omaha. And that means we work together. We put all the things aside that would keep us from accomplishing this amazing goal, and let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do the work of showing the world that we are one Omaha and we care about the great, rich history of North Omaha. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Ewing. I will now take it to the next part of our agenda. Ms. Brenda Council, would you come up? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am deeply honored that JoAnna and the officers and board members of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation considered me worthy of making some comments at today's event. That's because they know how much Malcolm X and his legacy has meant to me in my lifetime. She shared with you my relationship with the late, great Rowena Moore. For those of you who don't know, Rowena Moore is the woman who inspired me to become involved in electoral politics. She was a dynamic member of the Douglas County Democratic Party. She led the Labor Caucus as a black woman for the Democratic Party, and she urged us to become involved. The first elective office that I was successful at, people think it was the school board, but it wasn't. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, to be a delegate to the party convention, you had to be elected from your legislative district. Your name actually appeared on the primary ballot. Rowena Moore urged me to do that. And as a youngster growing up in North Omaha, May 19th had a special place in our history and our legacy. I look around the country today, and if you read the foundation newsletter, periodically you'll see all of the festivals that are being held across the country today. Omaha used to be the center of those festivals. The late Charles B. Washington worked closely with Rowena Moore. He used his national contacts to make sure that we had national figures who would come to Omaha to celebrate Malcolm's birthday. My fondest memory was the year that we had a week-long celebration, festival. It was highlighted by the late, great Dick Gregory. And I had the privilege of being his aide-de-camp. I drove Dick Gregory all around Omaha for a week. He was joined that week by the likes of Avery Brooks, Sonia Sanchez, Karina Milana. We had the entire Little family here with us, but this is the opportunity that this project presents to Omaha now, to revive that sense of ownership of Malcolm, because this is his birth site. We should be the largest celebration annually of his birthday. And when I was on the Turn Back Tax Committee, along with Chris Rogers and then City Councilman Ben Gray, we had the opportunity to provide the funding that enabled the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation to acquire this building. So my connection to the foundation runs long and deep. And with this new development, a $40 million investment in our community, have you all ever gone out and looked at the vista from this location? It is one of the most beautiful vistas in the city of Omaha. And we have an opportunity to showcase the beauty of North Omaha, but also the legacy of Malcolm with this complex, with this campus. It will be an international destination. It will accomplish many of the principles, the core principles that Malcolm stood on, black nationalism. I'm looking at what's going on today and be thinking about what Malcolm would be talking to us about, all right? People forget that Malcolm had a disagreement with the Nation of Islam over black political engagement. Malcolm believed in political engagement, and we are seeing the attacks on our right to vote. And I tell everybody, if it wasn't important, if it didn't matter, they wouldn't want to take it from you. So why don't you fight for it like Malcolm would have us to fight for it? I look at the conversations that are occurring across the internet and television about violence and political violence, and people are quick to say Malcolm advocated violence. No, he did not. Malcolm advocated self-defense. And ladies and gentlemen, it's no more important. It wasn't any more important then as it is today. We have to be concerned about our physical well-being, our physical safety. We are the targets. So we must embrace Malcolm's belief that if the government is coming after us, we have the obligation, the right, and the duty to protect ourselves. But through this project, we achieved one of his signature objectives, and that's Black economic power. And we can do that through this development, through the use of contractors and consultants who will be working on this project, the jobs that will be created once the project is completed, jobs that will be available to our young people, people growing up in this community, to carry on this legacy. So I'm thankful. I'm excited about the prospect of this property becoming an international destination, because in his final days, globalization of the Black experience was one of the core principles that Malcolm advocated. So we're going to have a global impact on human rights from little old Omaha, Nebraska. But we need each and every one of you to leave this space and tell someone about the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and this institution that's going to be constructed on this site, and to come and support. Now, we've been fortunate, the foundation has been fortunate to receive some grant monies from the government, thanks to the Department of Economic Development, thanks to Senator McKinney for his work in accomplishing that. We appreciate that. This project couldn't get started without that. So we have that seed money, but that's not all the money we need. And each and every one of us can make a contribution to this project, to this development, and have a personal stake in its growth. So please join the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation if you're not currently a member. We need you to support us financially, but also physically. You know, come to the center sometime. Come to the events, the programs, the educational opportunities that are presented to our young people. You know, one of the things that I remind people, and we've had tours come up here, and the first thing we do is tell them, have you ever read the autobiography of Malcolm X? And they say no. And what do we give them? We give them a copy of the book. Everybody, anybody. We want you to know Malcolm. So thank you again for being here this morning. Thank you again for thinking that I was worthy of sharing some comments, but I'm here pledging my continued support for the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and the Malcolm X Global Complex. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Brenda. She took us to church just a little bit. As she mentioned, we have a $20 million grant that we recently received, but we need more money, and we need to expand the campus. And so I'm inviting up the principal of the MX Development Group to speak more about the next phases of the project.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Jonathan Spellman, principal of MX Development Group. We are a commercial real estate development company based in Houston and Omaha, Nebraska. A little bit about me. I actually grew up in North Omaha, right off of North 26th Street. So this is a heartfelt project for me to be able to come back home and reinvest into my community. I think that's a very special thing that we can be able to do that. So where are we at? How did we get here? Currently, we completed the master site plan. We designed all 20 acres of this campus. Now we're moving forward. We concluded our RFP for the design efforts. We're seeking an architectural team. We received some very good submittals with that, and we're going to be making our selection very shortly. They will help us build and design, they will help us design the cultural center and museum. This cultural center is destined to be 30,000 square feet. Like mentioned before, this is going to be an international destination. not only to bring tourism, but also reinvest into the community, knowledge, and pursuing the legacy. We anticipate the design efforts to be concluded, I would say mid-2027, and that's when we plan to break ground on this wonderful construction of the project. We think that the project could take roughly 2 to 3 years to complete, and in that process, we always want community engagement to help us facilitate this project and, enrich. So we want this not only to be something that we build, we want something that the community builds. So as mentioned before, we love your input, we love your value. Please continue to invest in us as we invest in you guys. Thank you.
Okay, lots of people in the room. I'm seeing new faces before when I first got up here, so I'm just giving little nods and winks. Thank you for being here. All right, so I want to make sure I mention some closing remarks. As mentioned, the state of Nebraska DED gave $20 million, and we will be growing our fundraising efforts for the next couple of years. But if our community in our own backyard are not talking about this, we have no business going national. Yes, the country loved Malcolm. Yes, the world loves Malcolm. But everybody who lives here, when your friends and family come to visit, you'd say the zoo, you say Lawrence Gardens, you say wherever you want to say, but make sure you add the Malcolm X Foundation in there. Okay, so again, I want to thank everybody for being here. There are some upcoming things you should know about. We have one more community celebration to honor and recognize Malcolm X on May 31st, Sunday. You see the big poster here on the stage. That is open to the community. If you are not able to attend, I would encourage you to sponsor a student ticket if you cannot. And we do have a few table reservations available. As we prepare for the media session, after I walk off stage, I will invite the other speakers back up to receive questions from the media. And I want to kindly ask the community to either sit quietly and watch, or you can receive refreshments. We have some table snacks downstairs. Additionally, we have a couple of volunteers on site who will help you walk down to the historic marker so you can get your selfie in front of the birthplace marker. Lastly, I want to encourage you to fill out a short survey, which is on the back of your programs on the way out. There's a gift shop, and again, your encouragement and your continued engagement and encouragement matters. So I want to thank you all for being here today. Thanks so much.